Hello, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I'm going to cover the next topic, that is method overriding in JavaScript. So let's get started. So what is method overriding in JavaScript? If you're coming from a programming background like a Java programming language background, this session is going to be completely same. Okay, whatever we have seen in Java will be there in JavaScript with slight differences anyhow, the syntaxes and all. But the concept is overall same. But let me explain it from scratch. Okay, let me explain this from scratch. So what exactly is method overriding? Let me explain. For example, there is one class and there is also another class. Now, in the previous session, I covered about class-based inheritance in JavaScript where one class inherits the properties from another class. So when one particular class or a kind of collection of classes inherit the properties from another class, the class from which the properties are getting inherited by other classes, okay, this is called as a parent class. And the class which is actually inheriting the properties from another class is called as child class of that other class. So this is what is inheritance and how using extends keyword and all, how to create classes and how to make a particular class become a child class of another class, already covered in the previous session in this class based inheritance in JavaScript. Now, the next thing that you need to understand here is when a particular class is inheriting the properties for another class, this class is called as a parent class. This class is called as a parent class, and the class which is actually inheriting the properties from this class is called as a this is called as a child class. This is called as a child class. Okay, a class which is actually inheriting the properties from the parent class is called as a child class. That's correct. Now what if there is one method? Okay, here there is one method, guys. Let's say the name of the method is some sample method is there. Okay, assume that there's a method in the parent class. There is a method in the parent class with this sample name, and if the same exact same method having the same name is available, okay, exactly the same method if it is available in the child class, this method is said to override the method in the parent class. Okay, if the child class which is actually inheriting the properties from the parent class has the exact same method of the parent class with the same name and all, then the method in the child class, this particular method in the child class, which is a replica of the method or which is exact copy of the method in the parent class, is nothing but called as a overridden method. Okay, overridden method, overridden method. Okay, the method in the child class is said to override the method in the parent class. Otherwise, you can also say method in the child class is overriding the method in the parent class. We can also say like this, okay? The method in the child class, which is having the exact same name in the parent class, is overriding the method in the parent class. Simple, okay? So what will happen? If this particular method is not there in the child class, for example, assume that this particular method is not there in the child class, and if you create an object for the child class and using that object reference, if you call this sample method, since there is no sample method in the child class and child class is actually inheriting the properties from the parent class method will be called. Even though you are creating an object for the child class using the object reference of the child class, okay, when you call the sample method, if there is no sample method in the child class, the parent class inherited method in the child class will be called. But what if there is exact same copy of the method in the child class which is actually exact same copy of the method in the parent class? In that case, if you create an object for the child class and using the object reference, if you call the sample method, whether you see here there is a one thing, this method will be inherited in the child class and this child class has the same exact method, its own exact method. So here kind of what you call okay, ambiguity is there. whether inherited method need to be called when I create an object for this child class, and using the object reference if I call the sample method, whether the inherited sample method from the parent to child class will be called, or child class its own method will be called. In this case, if the child class has a replica of the same method in the parent class, instead of the inherited method, the child class its own method will be called. This will not be called. Inherited method will not be called. What if the child class doesn't have this kind of method, okay, which is actually overriding the method in the parent class? In that case, this particular sample method which is inherited in child class will be called when you create an object reference for this child class object, okay, using the object reference of the child class object. Inherited method will be called if the child class doesn't have the same exact method overriding the method in the parent class. Otherwise, the inherited method will be called. So this is what is the overriding concept at a high level, guys, okay, theoretically. Let me make it practical, guys. Let me make it practical and let me explain this for you. So that let me open the Visual Studio Code. Once I launch the Visual Studio Code, and here I'll do one thing. Already, there is an animal class and all those stuff, and there is a dog class, which is a child class and all. Otherwise, I'll start it from scratch, guys. Why to confuse you all? Let me delete this and create a new file, JavaScript file. I'll simply say demo.javascript, and here I'm going to create a class animal class. Okay, in the animal class, I'm going to create a method. Okay, let's say eat method I'm going to create. And here I'm going to write console.log animal is eating. Animal is eating, I'll say. Now I'll create another class, say dog class. Okay, now I want to, let's say I want to make this dog class a child class of the animal class. How to do that? Extends animal. In this kind of situation, if I create an object for the dog class, which is a child class, dog class is a child class of the animal parent class. Animal class is a parent class, dog class is a child class. When I create an object reference, okay, dog is const dog is equal to new dog, like this. If I do, and using this object reference, if I call this eat method, even though this particular eat method is not there in the dog class, but the dog class is, since dog class is a child class of the animal class, this particular method will be inherited by the child class. So dog.eat means animal is eating. This particular method in the parent class, which is inherited into the child class, will be called. Okay, this is what will happen before overriding any method. Okay, this is what is a behavior that you will see before overriding any particular method in the child class. The child class doesn't have the overridden method. The method from the parent class will be inherited into the child class, and using the object reference of this child class, okay, when I call the it method, the inherited method by this child class will be called node. If I say demo.js here, you see animal is eating is coming. Okay, till now it's all good. But what if I create the same exact method? You see here also eat method in the parent class is there. The same eat method I'm creating in the child class. And here I'll write the code. A dog is eating. Now in this kind of situation, okay, guys, in this kind of situation, when there is a parent class and when I create a child class which is inheriting the properties from the animal class, animal is a parent class, and the child class has the same method in the parent class, this method in the child class is said to override the method in the parent class. And in this kind of situation, dog class is still inheriting the eat method into the, okay, from the animal class. Dog class is inheriting this eat method from the animal class into its class, and at same time dog class has the exact same method which is overriding this inherited method into the child class. So overridden method will be called when I write like this. Okay, when I create an object reference for this dog class, and using the object reference if I call the eat method, it will call the overridden method, not the inherited. There are two possibilities. One is inherited method by the child class. Other one is its own method, which is exactly same copy of this inherited method in the child class. So overridden method, okay, the method which is specific to the dog class, which is actually overriding the method in the parent class, will be called in this case. Even though I say dog.eat, dog is eating will come here. Okay, dog is eating. If this method is not there, this method will be inherited into the dog class, and animal is eating will come. So this is what is called as method overriding in JavaScript, guys. This concept is called as method overriding in JavaScript. What if you want to call the, if in case the dog class has its own eat method, which is a overridden method of the same eat method in the animal class. If in case you want to call the animal class eat method, you cannot do like this. Okay, what you have to do here is you have to create an object for the animal class. Okay, directly you create an object for the animal class, and using the object reference, if you call the eat method, in this case, since you directly create an object for the parent class method will be called there. You see, child class will inherit it, but parent class won't inherit anything from the child class. So the parent class method will be called if you are directly creating an object for the parent class like this. You see, animal dot eat means animal is eating will be printed. But if you say dog dot eat means the overridden method will be called instead of the inherited method. Okay, so that's a thing you need to understand. You see, animal is eating has been printed. Okay. So hope guys you understood the overriding concept in hope you guys understood the overriding concept in JavaScript. Just give me a second. Mm, okay, that's okay. Fine. That's all for this session, guys. Okay, method overriding in JavaScript. So see you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.